Oh. Just sipping my coffee as we welcome you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Carolyn.
I'm Anna.
And we're two sisters who love handcrafting and figuring things out.
All right, I still maintain starting a video is the hardest part of making a video. Hello. It is Saturday, February 10th. This is episode 44, and we're so happy you're here. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome everybody. It's a beautiful day here. Happy New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. All right, so we've got a lot going on in this episode. We're going to tell you about what we're wearing. We are going to show off some finishes and fully finished objects.
We're going to show off.
We're showing them off. We are going to share some whips and some plans. We're going to get curious about Carmen's hashtag Jacob Sleeper Cell. I think we're going to show you a couple shared supplies, some few inky dink things, and then end with our thumbs up. All right, let's go.
Okay.
A couple things from our last comments.
So many ideas came in about what we're nicknaming Carolyn's swan dilemma. Do you have your piece with you?
No.
It was a ghosting swan, and so many ideas came out. I guess there's such a thing as a black swan, and there's symbolism in black swan. Maybe use some variegated black for a black swan, or try some different variegations of a lighter, or try a light shade of something like periwinkle or pink or gray. One idea that I hadn't thought of is some people said outline it, but somebody said in particular outline it, but in a subtle way. Like just a little bit darker.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I saw those about like maybe backstitching or outlining. I missed that one, and I was gonna just try to outline it in the same color, just to see if adding a little definition.
So that could
but
be a
you're
start.
right, because I picked a pretty bright white, but maybe going a slightly different white so that you'd see the contrast there. I like that idea. I like that idea. The best is trying the outlining. Okay. So that's the one I'm going to try first. And I figured I have plenty of margin here. I'm going to insert the piece right here. And there is Quaker Housewife, and it's the bird on the top I've stitched in white, but then there's also a big swan that's part of the motif that's also that same color. So I'm just going to do like in the margin, do something and then play around with it a little bit.
Well, I responded in a few of the comments, like, I can't wait to hear what Carolyn's going to try. I can't, because I felt like I couldn't predict. And after we had a laugh over you picking the project bag last video that I thought for sure you weren't gonna, and you said, do you even know me? And I'm like, I don't even know. I was just gonna fix her swan.
My sister. And Anna brought these over today because these were a couple colors that people suggested to try. One way I kind of like the idea of a black swan, but I'm not sure how that would go with the color palette that's already in the piece.
And a few people said that too.
I know. When I saw that, I'm like, I think I agree with you. And I feel like trying to keep it white or something like that, because I feel like it gives this really like freshness.
Okay, so you're not going to give up on that yet, and you'll try the outlining.
I'm going to try the outlining first, and maybe in just that same color or a slightly different color. And then I think I would try next like a pale pink. And then I would also try the black, because I think the black is a good, when all else fails, I'll make, because there's already some grays and charcoals in it, but I could go like really dark black maybe.
Okay, good.
We'll see.
Thanks.
That was my weekly focus whip for a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of put it away, waiting it for it to be my weekly focus again. But now I'll have something really good to focus on when it is.
Okay, and the other big thing in comments was people express their interest in finishing.
That was so fantastic, Anna, because I think you said something like, I don't know if anybody's going to really want this. And then we got so many people that were interested in it. So that was really fun.
So it's the Brickhouse Sampler by Brenda Gervais. That's halfway done, and it has the threads. And the comment picker ended up picking Jaren Jantz at Jaren Jantz 9476.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, Jaren.
We'll be happy to send this to you. If our preference is for you to leave your mailing address in our DM on Instagram, that feels easiest to us. So hopefully that feels easy to you. And if not, we'll figure something else out.
Yeah. If not, you can always email us. And our email, I'll put it in the description box below. We don't really read our Curious Crafters email. I'm really sorry. I know some people have emailed us there and have gotten like 0 responses from us till like months later. So yeah, definitely if you can DM on Instagram, that is the best way to go.
And you have a message now on our email, right?
I do.
We don't read it, but every once in a while we'll go look at it if we need to. We need to have an email to have an to get.
We needed
Instagram, and we're just.
And to get the YouTube, I mean, we just needed to be, we didn't want to be one or the other, so we needed something just to I guess you're not really an entity unless you have an email. So there we are. Just so we know, we used a random comment picker, and we went ahead and picked 3 people in sequence. So if we don't hear from Jaren, we'll give her a couple, some time. Maybe in the next video, the video after that, we'll call the next person.
Video.
Yeah, next video. So we have that already selected. If that's not the case. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. Also, just in general, thanks for comments. They're so fun to read.
Yes, thank you.
So thanks so much. Anything going on? Let's see. We're both heading out for some travels. I'm leaving a week from today. How about you?
I'm leaving a week from today as well. Yeah.
I wonder if I'll see you at the airport.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get a pizza together.
We're going different places, but we'll be gone 2 consecutive weekends. So we haven't really talked about it, but just depending how things go, our next video after this one might be in 3 weeks.
I'm guessing that's what's going to happen, unless we think of something clever.
Yeah, unless when we get back, maybe one day after school, we film, but we may say, you might see us in 3 weeks after this video.
Plus, I don't think I'm going to stitch very much while I'm gone. That's what usually happens. Of course, I'm bringing things.
Of course, we're bringing a lot, but whether we get a lot done. Yeah, so probably the 3 weeks. I'd say set that.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to toast a happy Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
So many folks around us are celebrating Lunar New Year this weekend. And the festivities are just fun, and the dress and the decorations are just great to be.
Here's to the year of the dragon, and any dragons out there. I'm a rat.
Year of the tiger.
So we have a rat and a tiger here. 2 of my granddaughters are also rats. My husband's a rat, and my other 2 granddaughters are tigers. So, do you know what yours are? Okay,
I haven't looked that up.
So, all right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, Anna, what are you wearing?
I am wearing the baby doll dress by Narita Hansen in a window pane fabric from our local needle studio, which has a great online business if you want to check out her fabric, especially if you sew garments. And I adjusted the seam. I was interested at the time of having the front of the dress be a little bit higher than the back of the dress. And this is another example of what I call my winter layering. So I just, as you can see, I have a shirt underneath it, and I have some leggings underneath it. I went to get a pedicure, so you have to it's too hard to pull up your jeans, but if you can't just wear a dress without something underneath it. So leggings under a dress is perfect for
I like that. Today. I like that look actually a lot. Leggings under dresses.
I do feel like I can do anything in this kind of outfit. Sit on the floor with the grandchild
or a student,
clean the house.
Yeah.
Yes. And what about you, Carolyn? What are you wearing?
I actually think I've never worn the sweater on it. FlossTube before.
Oh no, come on.
I think not.
You wear that sweater a lot.
I wear the sweater a lot. It's called the Arabella sweater. I knit it in, I think, 2016. And the yarn is Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which again is a very kind of lightweight wool. And when you see it in the catwalk, it is a big it has a slit, and it's a big A-line. So in fact, the silhouette goes like this and branches out like that. The year I knit the sweater, our nephew lived with us for a year. And that Christmas,
that seems like a long time ago.
I know. Well, that's how old the sweater is. That year for Christmas, our nephew's mother, our sister, gave me like a little bit bigger Christmas gift. And what she gave me, it was so cute, is
Thanks for all the groceries.
Thanks for all the groceries. This is the picture, the pattern picture. And we loved how this woman styled. She had on some sort of skinny jeans and a collared shirt. So Susan gave me a collared shirt and these great skinny cords. Do you remember those? They're like, they're like almost like a coral.
They look great. Yeah. Doesn't she have some too?
She may. I wore those cords. I wore those out. They faded like the colors, and then it was like a white shirt. Anyway, it was such a great gift because she's like, you can be like the model now. So I always think about Susan when I wear this sweater and that great outfit she had. Okay, so let's. Catwalk.
Oh, catwalk.
Catwalk. Welcome back. Always when we say that, we like have no idea what the catwalk ended out like because we don't film that till we're done.
And every time I start the catwalk, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know.
And then you just do something.
Same
try it sometime in the living room.
One person's at the end of the walkway and they go starting the music, and so we're like, okay. And then we also agreed, unless like we trip, whatever we get is what we get, and we're just gonna go with it. So that's actually been kind of fun because afterwards we're like, okay, let's see it. Okay, we've got some fully finished objects. We each have one. So I'll start, and my fully finished object is the Holiday Countdown 2023, and here it is, all finished. Again, I love these. Anna's calling these now tiles, where it's laced. I've laced mine on mat board, and either put another mat board on the back with fabric like the beginning of a flat fold, or sometimes I like to take some wool and just cut it and just do a little bit of glue around the edge. This one, I put a little note inside that just said who stitched it, when was it stitched, and a little something about the time it was stitched.
I think that's so fun.
So it'll be a little bit of a surprise if anybody ever opens it or whatever. It might go into the garbage dump at some point back in there.
When moths eat through.
When moths eat through, or somebody goes to replace it, there's a little note back there. I just love the versatility of this kind of finish. You can put it on bookshelves, you can stack it on a ledge, you can do whatever. Again,
I agree. It has a little bit more of a modern look just because of its simplicity, and it's so cost effective.
It's right. I love these little stands that you can come. I was even thinking these stands, they only come in like this one finish, but I'm like, why can't you get a stand and paint it to match something? I mean, like, I think there can be really versatile. I also love. We
have not fully explored.
We have not
even begun.
We have
we
not.
don't go there very often.
Yeah.
So we need to learn a few things.
Yeah. To get all the paints. I also like how you really can see and feel the cross stitch. I feel like all the texture is there. You can even touch it if you want.
It does invite you to pick it up in a way.
So
just looks fabulous.
This is I really enjoy this finish. And I was just telling Anna, I'm also now like really comfortable. I think, yeah, really. I'm really comfortable lacing. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm still experimenting with ways to get good corners, but I feel like I get a nice straight line.
And you can really feel that because when I look at this, because I mean, it's straight. And you know, you have a bigger border on the bottom to accommodate the stand. I mean, like, you really know what you're doing.
And I figured this bottom border, even if I don't have it in the stand, you know, a lot of times when you frame something, the bottom margin is a little bit larger than around the side.
Right.
So I figured, whatever. Okay, so really happy. And this, I had so much fun. Evertote has just put out their pre-order for next year's. But I so enjoyed just having the pattern and picking my own flosses. I don't know if they'll do that as an option. I might not know until the fall, but I think I'm not going to buy the box. I think I'm going to wait and see if I can do the pattern.
Because the color decisions were
I really enjoyed doing the color decisions. Yeah. So I should say I just had the pattern. I picked my own color conversion. I would look at Caroline's video every day to see what color they were using, and I used something similar, but sometimes I would reuse colors around here. And I tried to use as much Roxy floss floss as possible to also keep it in the spirit of the collaboration.
I'm telling you, the box that's really pulling at me is the artsy housewife.
I'm totally getting that. I just watched their Carolyn and Carrie's their video for maybe this Thursday recently. That's coming out in June because it's a box to celebrate
perfect timing
Caroline's birthday in July. So it's going to be it's going to be an artsy housewife chart for that. I'm all in. I'm totally getting it. Okay, so holiday countdown, super fun. Tile. Anna named these tiles. I love, so we're going to start calling them tiles, don't you think?
I think so. I think it's already part of my vocabulary. Yeah. I'm glad it appeals to you, and we'll know what we talk about.
It's tile.
It's common vocabulary.
All right, Anna.
All right, so my finish has been gifted. It is my granddaughter Baby C's blanket, which the pattern is called Baby Bubble Blanket by Sheep and Stitch, and I stitched it in Barocco Pima cotton in the color Dianthus. Cannot say enough about this yarn. Yeah. The drape of it is so soft, really easy to knit with. My gauge was great this way, but the blanket was coming up a little short, and I was going to add another 5 inches, but then my daughter-in-law said, I'd actually rather the blanket be smaller rather than larger. So I went ahead and stopped and just added the edging, and let's put a picture of
you have a picture, good.
Baby C covered with her blanket. We have one of it, like it's over her head.
She is breathing.
It was fun. So we brought it over. My husband and I brought it over. We went on a stroller walk, and they just plopped it right on her in the stroller. It looks so nice against it's like navy blue or black stroller.
What did you end up doing about blocking it?
Oh, I followed your advice. I purchased a pretty large lingerie bag, washed it on cold and delicate in the washing machine, plopped the lingerie bag into the dryer on delicate for, 20 minutes or something like that. And then I put out a beach towel in the living room and just like squared it up, eyeballing it.
Did you feel like it stretched at all, or did it feel?
No, in fact, I think it got a little smaller.
Okay.
It's great. And then I gave them the lingerie bag because so hopefully they can just wash it and dry it.
My local daughter-in-law, I'm like, whenever you feel like you need to wash the blankets, just give them to me. I'll wash them.
That's a great idea too. I should say that to them. Yeah. Even with the.
I mean, they're always washable, but sometimes it's just good to have a little expert do it for you if you can. Okay, and then we also have some finished objects. All right, Anna, tell us about yours.
Okay. I finished Embell 1856, a Quaker fancy by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I don't know, I was maybe halfway done with this. I just did the Quaker side. We'll put in a photo from last time I touched it, which was months ago. I did this on 38 count cloister cream by Legacy Linen, and I used the Gloriana thread India ink. And here it is.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. I really like it. I am going to make it into a tile, and I've already backed the tile. So this fabric. So this is a piece of, what is this called?
Mat board.
Mat board. And then this is all ready. I just need to lace it. I'm surprised always at how small something actually is, because I tend to leave pretty big borders. And I'm shooting for about a 1/4 inch border, so it's going to be a 1/4 inch of fabric showing on the edge. It's going to be something like that.
Not too far of a different size.
Yeah.
For this. That's going to be a beautiful tile, Anna.
I know we said this before, but when I started this, I remember this lattice work in here being really, really hard. And I was sort of halfway done with that motif. And so when I finished the lattice, it was not really, really hard. And it was just another reminder of you just keep stitching and stitching and stitching, and you might not even realize you're actually gaining skills.
I know. Thousands of stitches later, you're better. You're just more comfortable with it. Okay. We were talking about this. I only used a single piece of mat board. Did I just talk about this already? I can't remember.
No, I don't think you did. I think we talked about it with
We were talking about it together. And I know Anna used double, and I think next time too, I'm going to use double once the pieces get a little bigger, because I don't know if the lacing is going to eventually bow the board a little bit. It's not right now, but okay. And
this is the project bag. So this fabric all along, I'm thinking, I like that fabric with this piece. This project I go to something else soon.
You mentioned that you're going to try to finish this sooner than later. Do you think you're still going to try to finish it?
That's my first choice, and I thought, well, at the stage I'm at now with all the parts and pieces, I could even finish it on my trip if I had to.
You could.
But I have to be fresh to do lacing, so it still feels a little hard for me. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up and lace.
Yeah.
And see if I can get that.
Yeah. I laced mine this morning. I was telling Anna, this was like the first day in a long time that I'm like, I don't have anything I have to do.
It's great.
I didn't have to do any housework. I had done that this week for a different reason. I don't have any schoolwork on Monday. I'm all ready to go on that. And I'm like, girl, you got some time. Go in there and lay. I have like a little space where I lay.
This is your moment.
This is my moment. And then it was so fun because I didn't feel rushed. I didn't have anything else I needed to do.
How long does it take you to lace something?
I'm slow. It probably took me, it probably took me an hour. Yeah, probably about an hour. Do the lacing. I stitch. I really highly recommend this. I put in my margin and baste it with some thread, and I leave it in there till I'm done, and then I can pull out the thread. I actually always use silk, so it's slippery. That helps me line it up, and then that is going around my corners, and I can really see if one side is even. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that.
Even with something that has the border on the
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm wiggling the ironing board.
Anna's giving away our setup. This is popped on an ironing board in front of our table. It would be so fun for all the different floss tubers out there. Like, what is your jerry-rigged setup to try to get this done? Anna, yes, I do, because first of all, it shows me what my margin is. So I never have to look at the front when I'm lacing. I can always work from the back. And what I'm seeing is my basting on the edge.
Okay, so if I want a 1/4 inch away from the stitching, right at the 1/4 inch? Not because last time I did the basting, I basted a little bit in the interior, not at my exact margin. But you shoot for this,
and then I
up to be right there.
I shoot for it to kind of be right here on the edge.
I'm gonna try that,
and then that gives me a good line to look for, and I highly recommend that. And then periodically I'll stop and come back and look just to make sure my lines are straight, but I'm doing most of it from the back.
And last time I laced, and I'm gonna try this again, I didn't cut my thread ahead of time. I just kept my thread on the spool and just kept pulling off the spool as I tightened.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I've now perfected the weaver's knot that you can do to knot it together. But that's interesting.
What happened with me with the weaver's knot one time is that I have a hard time lacing tightly the first or even the second time I tightened, and then the knot ended up being hitting the fabric and not allowing me to tighten.
And you couldn't pull it through the fabric?
Oh, I didn't try. Do you pull your knot through the fabric?
Yeah. I mean, I make sure that knot is really tight so it's pretty small, and sometimes I have to hold the fabric and but it pops out.
I just made the same sound as you.
Maybe you do know me after all. Okay,
great.
Enough about lacing. But
all right, you have finished too?
I do. I'm just gonna say one more thing about lacing, even though I said enough about lacing.
Sure.
If you've never tried it, don't be scared. Right?
Because I always have to tell myself, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You take the lacing out and you take it to a framer.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, I feel like now we've done it a few times, and the more you do it, as anything we know, it gets easier and easier. Not that it's for me, it's probably never going to be fast because I'm not a fast worker.
Yeah, it's a precise, a little bit fiddly kind of thing for me, but I don't mind that kind of thing for a short period of time when I'm fresh.
When you're fresh, I agree. And good light. You need a good light, good standing place. Okay, we talked about that.
There we go.
All right. My finish is I finished.
So cute. It's tiny. So that's the 40 count, right?
This is the 40 count Reindeer Games. I hadn't realized they were numbered. This actually was number 2, even though it was number 1. And this is a Brenda Gervais design. And let me show you the 3 possibilities.
I always have to get a close up.
Yeah.
So cute.
So I did, this was number 2. And then I immediately, I'll show you right now, started number 1. And here, of course, are all the just fun, festive threads. My goal is to finish all 3 and fully finish them. I got the kit, so I have all the fully finishing things and have those as ornaments to give to one to myself, one to my household, and then one to each of my...
One for me.
And then one for each of my sons' households.
And you're going to have to paint on this one, this finish.
Yeah. So we got the wood for the little balls, and you paint that red and paint that silver. I already got the silver. I had to order that, but Local Michaels has the red. So I'm going to wait and fully finish them. I think the interesting thing is you do lace this, and she gives you the circle to put it on.
Oh.
But it's going to be tricky to cut out a circle on mat board. So I'm going to have to think about if I just use some heavy cardstock for the lacing, since it's going to be mounted. Stay tuned when we get there.
I have a circle cutter, which is essentially
A back cutter.
a little blade that sticks down.
Can you change the radius of it to get different sizes?
It has 9 different sizes. No, 9 times 2. It has 18 different sizes. And I actually, well, we can talk more later. I might have a solution for you.
So if anybody has finished circular things before and has a good way to cut mat board to lace on. All right, oh, here's just my start of the next one. You can see Santa's there. And who does not like a reindeer wearing a Christmas sweater? So for these, this is stitched on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart and called for DMC and overdyed cottons, and came as a kit. And my first time doing 40, and guess what? It's fine.
It looks smaller than 36. I mean,
It does. It does look smaller. And I know, petite. And for ornaments, and for all my white doodahs.
oh yeah, I'm about to do that. In
All
Fruits
my
of
white
Plenty.
doodahs. I just carried my threads.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a Christmas ornament.
Well, I'm doing that for Fruits of Plenty too, and it's more than a Christmas ornament, but yeah.
Okay, so finish, and then Anna has another finish. Anna, when I saw you put this in our show notes,
Okay, this is my first vessel of flowers.
you're doing it, girl.
Thanks. I did a lot of stitching. I had a good stitching couple of weeks. This is going to be made into a pillow. And my idea is that I'd like to end up with 6 little pillows by the end of the year. So 1 every couple of months, pulling many of them, if not all of them, from larger samplers. I'm calling it #bowl full of baskets. This is pulled from a modern folk embroidery design, which I'll show you in a moment. Then it's on 40 count pecan butter by Lakeside. And I use the called for DMC flosses. And I like it a lot. I'm wondering, let me hold it up again.
Yeah.
I think for most of them, I'm going to have a little space here and here, which I don't mind being empty, but I'm starting to wonder, do I want to put some initials or some years that represent something? So here's the larger sampler that I pulled it from, Katrin and William.
So you can see just from the size of this, that would be a cute little sampler.
Yes.
Yeah, Anna, I wonder if it's kind of fun, maybe you put your initials sometimes, maybe you put a date so that when you look at that bowl full of berries, you have just some variation on that.
Or like all of them sort of tell a story of some sort.
Yeah.
Huh. So I'm eager to finish that, but maybe I'll wait for a minute until I decide what I'm going to do. I have decided I am going to back these little pillows with William and Morris fabric, and I ordered some in the mail. I'll show you all during our shared supplies section. And I think I might put a combination of crushed walnut shells and lavender inside of them.
Nice. Are you going to fully finish them at the same time, wait until the same time, or do them so that you're not... Do them as you go, so you're filling your bowl of berries. What is it called again?
Bowl full of baskets.
Bowl full. You're finishing your baskets.
I want to do it as I go.
So cool, Anna.
Thanks.
And I guess you're right. You're on target, right? Because you said every 2 months. Here we are.
So I'm making
February.
my decision for my March, April, which I think it might be the Chessie and me basket. I didn't bring it with me.
I saw somebody comment to say something cute, like I think it was like the original sampler snack or something like that.
But some of these, this one is like teeny tiny cute. Oh, it's also on 40. Some of them are pretty big. I do want some change of scale.
You might find you have a tile in there.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Because I do want to make some tiny ones or make a strawberry. Well, I'm going to concentrate. Okay, I'm going to concentrate
so many big ideas.
On the 6. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see if I continue to have as much fun as I'm having now.
You can tell that neither of us ever run out of ideas. Okay, Anna, congratulations. I hadn't realized you'd finished that.
Oh, thanks.
So super fun. It's fun on the morning we film. We have a Google Doc and we'll just put in the things we're going to do in what order. And sometimes we're in there at the same time and we're like, oh my gosh, what do you know, sometimes we'll type in there to each other.
Sometimes we text each other, like, what are you stitching tonight or something between videos. But I like the element of surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like what Carolyn's about to hold up right now. She's done so much.
Yeah.
I like both. A little sneak peek and a surprise. Speaking of sneak peeks, like market, we haven't talked about this, but last year didn't we each buy 3 things and then we showed each other or something?
Oh yeah.
I want to do something.
Was that last year or the year before? Okay, we're gonna have to do something similar. We had maybe some repeats. Mm-hmm. It's funny though, some of the things I bought from market I haven't stitched. Although who cares?
It's in our collection.
That's right. That's fun. Okay, so let's talk about our whips. And my first whip is my North Pole by Kathy Barrick. This one's not going to go away. Like, it's in my whips.
That one's going to be finished this week.
No, not this week.
Because you have another focus piece.
Yeah, I've been doing this weekly focus. I can stitch whatever I want, but in addition, I have a weekly focus that I stitch on 3 times, at least 3 times.
I can stitch whatever
I want. But that weekly focus has been really fun because I also, when I'm done with the focus, I decide, do I want to keep it out or do I want to put it back away? And here we got a silk, Ann and I both doing this, our silk pack.
They're really getting low.
They are getting a little low, but not in a dangerous way.
Meaning like you've made so much progress.
And this came from Hillside Rookery. So she has her little baker's twine. I couldn't throw it away, so it's on here with my floss bling. And here's where I was in our whip praise. Really bad picture, but you'll see the feeling. And here's where I am now.
Fantastic.
So I've made it all the way down to the North Pole. And I've even got the line across the bottom. For 4 days, from a Thursday through Monday morning, I was babysitting one granddaughter while the rest of the family was off doing something that she's not old enough to do. And so this is the piece I took while I was babysitting because it had a lot of fill-in. I'm filling in the coat or some simpler designs because same thing, like when you don't have your good stitching light and you're just using like a table light.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do, I'm just not a word person. It's just not for me. I mean, sometimes I'll stitch words. But this says North Pole under here. Instead, I'm just going to put a few white snowflakes in there. And it's probably, I can't remember, on the pattern, is it done in, it's done in black. Maybe I'll do something else down there. Or I might just do those white snowflakes, but I'm not going to do the words North Pole.
I've always liked how elongated this Santa is, but I'm also realizing it's sort of like the slope of his back too, or something, that movement. Makes me like it so much.
This piece in here for his coat has some detailed in it. So same thing, I'm not doing that without my light. So I've saved that's kind of my next thing to do.
I was thinking about that the other night. I was working on my Fruits of Plenty, which is on charcoal. I am so connected to my floor lamp magnifier. And it's just everything to me. As I cross stitch, I almost don't enjoy cross stitching if I'm not set up in that way. Even with my little travel light, which I'm grateful to have, and I'm taking on my trip, my experience is not the same.
Especially because you use the magnifier in that too. Yeah, I can use a variety of different lights, but if I feel like I'm straining to see, then that takes away a little bit of the enjoyment.
Yeah, since I mentioned that again, every time I mention it, people say, which one is it? It's the Daylight Magnifier Floor Lamp. There's just one of them.
So I think this is coming close to a finish. I think my next big section is doing this the pattern that's in the coat.
I see. I forgot about that.
And then have maybe another tree, another reindeer, fill in his little details in his face, some flowers. It's been really fun.
And are you going to frame it in a frame? You're going to make it a tile, a little wall hanging, or you're not going to decide yet?
I think I'm going to frame it. And I think I stitched last year a piece. So Winter Comes. It's the one I got at Acorns and Threads.
I think so.
I'm going to put a picture of it right here.
I love the border. Woo!
Yeah. And that was my January 1st start, 2023. And they somehow feel like they go together.
Okay.
So I might frame them in a similar way and kind of put them together.
I cannot get a metallic frame out of my head. I have not framed anything in a metallic frame yet, but I think next thing I get framed.
Are you thinking this could look good in a metallic frame, like something that has
Like
a
brushed
goldy
tarnished thing?
Mm-hmm. So as always, hashtag Kathy Barrick Fan Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love, I think we've talked about this, how jam-packed of goodies around Santa. And it makes me so happy. He has so many friends and so many trees and everything's a little different. So also when you're stitching it, you kind of get in the rhythm of what her reindeers or her trees are going to be, but there's always some variation in them. Really fun. Highly recommend.
Yes.
Okay, how about you?
One of the whips that I worked on this week was Scarlet Berries down the bottom section where the motifs are. Just a couple of nights on this, but I was down in here. There are several differences between the colors on the chart and the colors on the model.
Really?
Like big differences. Like this little checkerboard is black. This checkerboard under the basket is black and white.
On the chart. Do you think it's an error in the charting or a design decision after the model was stitched?
My best guess is that there were some changes made after the model was stitched, because there would be multiple errors. And I even peeked at the website to see, is there any, what is it called? Errata or something? Errata?
That's so interesting. I mean, I guess in some ways too, you can decide if you want to change it or not.
Right. I didn't notice it right away. And like, do you see there's no red inside of there? And there's red. Another difference is in this border underneath the letters, between the letters and the motif. To me, it looks just green. I think it's Oscar. But the chart shows some red inside. It probably just doesn't even matter. Inside the heart, that shows white, and inside this heart is another shade of red, just like this flower is two shades of red, which I like the look of it a lot, the two shades of red. So I'm probably going to do the heart that way.
Yeah. So interesting. Oh, I love the colors of the peacock colors are fantastic.
I'm liking the purple in this chart. And how often do we stitch with purple? Not very often. At least I don't.
Yeah. It would be interesting just to ask, not as a like, your chart's different from the photo, but just what was the thinking? Because I'm sure that was a curious mind. I'm sure that was intentional. Was it? Did she look at it? And maybe once the model is done, you do have a final process of like finalizing design elements or something.
I feel like I think the reason I'm leaning towards that is I feel like I've heard reference to that several times of how actually having a model stitch compared to a computer generated. That is not quite right. That you notice things when the model is stitched. So then I'm thinking, okay, was the black and white checkerboard looking too stark or something, and she wanted to soften it? I'm curious.
Right. Okay, if we ever meet her, we'll be asking those kinds of questions of her.
And so this is the Scarlet House, Scarlet Berries. This is 36 count weeks cocoa, and the overdyed cottons are also weeks.
What's your plan? Do you want to keep going on it?
Definitely. I'm still very interested. I need to chart out these initials in here, but until that happens, I'm just gonna motifs. In fact, that's probably what I'm gonna do tonight.
Good.
I'm really enjoying this, and I'd like to finish it maybe in the next couple of months. Get it framed and on the wall. That's where I am with that.
All right, the next one I'm going to show you. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Was my focus whip for this week. And most times my focus whip, I'm doing a random number generator, but there's sometimes, like for example, I knew the week that I was going to be babysitting my granddaughter, I picked my focus whip because I'm like, it can't be anything. It has to be something that I can do away from my stitching spot. So this is Yaya's sampler, and this is a reproduction of a sampler from my husband's side of the family, and here's a picture of the original. And then here's a picture where I was last time.
Oh, I forgot to say that for my scarlet berries.
You know, whenever you do that, if I find a time, I just slide one in.
Awesome.
Because I love seeing progress. And even like personally, it's always fun. Like I'll look back and go like, did I really do that much? And here's where I am now. And this is, I gotta scroll down. Oh, here I am. Oh, 36 count brown paper by X Jew Design. And the thread is Gloriana Silk and Schoolhouse Red. And it's stitched 1/2. And Schoolhouse Red on paper, brown paper, perfect.
I was just about to say.
Perfect.
The color, every time I see it, I'm like, those two colors like each other.
I would use this color combination again for another red sampler. I still have, these are like a different kind of stitch. Like stars almost, and that they will come down and then come all the way around. But I thought, it's funny, I looked at them, I'm like, how did I do those again? So I'm gonna wait and do them all together again. I'll figure it out.
Consistency.
For consistency.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's looking great.
And thank you to a commenter who let me know the correct spelling of Yaya. I was spelling it wrong. And the woman who stitched this in my Hillside Rookery bag. I can show you my pattern here. Here's my big old pattern taped together. Marika. So I was, she says, she goes, it's like Marie with K. So Marika Kuani. Marika. So stitching this, I felt really attached to her. Even though she's not my relative, I'm like, how cool if you could stitch your own relatives. Like for all the women we have in our matrilineal line, if we ever found a sampler that wanted, or it made me really also now want to stitch the farm sampler because that is our relative. So when I'm done with this and I have the model, I'm going to check in with anybody on that side of the family to see if they want to stitch it. I'm going to kit it up for them and send it to them, sort of as a thank you for sharing this with me, because I think it would be so, especially if this had been your grandmother. Yes. That family, my husband's cousins, was 4 boys and a girl. Not the men and boys don't cross stitch, but I know the girl, she's very, very crafty. So I could see, even if she hasn't cross stitched, that she might want to do this. Because how cool would it be to stitch the same thing your grandmother
She could also needle point it.
She could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she could.
I need to make my own sampler.
What do you mean? Like
design one.
I think we should do that. Okay, we're putting it out there in the universe, everybody. Like at some point we are gonna design and stitch our own samplers. And it doesn't mean like everything has to be original, right? You can take motifs from other samplers and put them together.
Yeah.
And leaving a legacy, because I think it's really meaningful to stitch other people's in the history, and you do feel connected to that person and think about that, even though that person was 200 years ago or this person was over 100 years ago, here we are doing the same thing, but also kind of leaving something of ourselves too, right? So I've got quite a bit done.
I like the variation of the alphabets in that a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
It's a really good one, and every one of the borders is different. I've only partially done this border down here. So, and there's even a different border coming down the other side. So I love that variation. All through that.
Great. Oh, Carolyn, I almost want to stop there.
So
a few
good.
more things.
Let's keep it going. Okay.
My next whip is the Fruits of Plenty. I am putting 12 lengths of thread in it every week.
And have you kept up with that?
Yes.
Anna, I'm so proud of you.
Really working for me. I'm stitching this on a 32 count charcoal by Zweigart in DMC 5200, B5200. And Carolyn and I are both stitching this monochromatically. And my stitching this year, these last couple of weeks, we're in this octagon.
Wow.
Very. And so, you know, it was like an extra fun section.
Wow. You are really making good progress.
It's just the right amount because I had plenty of time to stitch other things. But just like you said, I feel like it's enough that I'm like, okay, I just did another chunk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gonna take me at least another couple of weeks to fill that octagon. It's pretty, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in all of these. Anna, okay. That 12, and you just, again, you have your 12 strands sitting there on your table.
Right. So what I do is I just cut off 2 lengths of from the DMC skein. That's 12 lengths, and I tuck them underneath my stand where I keep my patterns as I stitch, and
they look at you.
Exactly. Just, I don't know, 2 nights a week or 4 nights in 1 week if I fall a little behind.
Yeah.
Gets it done. And I
to
mean,
make it all the way to the bottom.
I think that was a game changer for me. Remember, I was wondering, should I keep moving across up here, kind of a little higher, because there's missing stuff in here. But there's something about coming over and getting that corner psychologically. I was sort of like, oh, okay, like this is gonna happen. I do want to finish. I want to finish it this year, but I am going to date it 2020 for a variety of reasons, which I will talk about more when we get there. Mostly because this represents me starting to stitch again during the pandemic. So that's going well.
Okay, so my last whip, it's across the room. I'm just too lazy to pick it up. It's my Kachamak sweater. We've seen it before. No, because we'll show it next time. I'm stalled. I got to the point.
I'm surprised.
I know. So I finished both of the color work bodies, and then I could put it on some scrap yarn, and I'm going to do the sleeves, and I went to try it on, and the turtleneck is like, it's just way too much turtleneck. Even folded over, it's like way up here.
Oh.
So.
Can you do a double fold?
It's double folded. It's folded over. Oh, and double fold? No.
You fiddled with it.
No. And, it's not that big of a deal. What you can always do is cut knitting and then read. But the problem is when you have ribbing and you cut knitting and try to go the other way, you're half a stitch off. So I got to think.
Could you cut it and put like a trim instead of ribbing? Oh, no, it has to be stretchy.
It has to be stretchy. I mean, it has it's dark brown, and then it has the toffee color as a little accent around the top. So that might be okay if that's a little off, or maybe I just bind it off. I get it. So it's just going to take a little bit of thinking. So I have to go and get myself started and get my sleeves going, because it fits great all through here. It's just like it's really nice here, and then it's just way too much fabric around the neck. And I like a good turtleneck, but it's got to be more like a turtleneck.
Are you going to even take it with you?
Probably not.
Okay, because it's not a relaxing.
I would only have taken it with me if I knew I could finish it there, which is fine. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see it next time, and maybe I'll have
it happens, right?
Yeah, when I go to fix it, I'll take some photos of the process too, so people can kind of see what to do. Okay, and then Anna has one last thing.
I almost forgot about that. Okay. I keep hearing the phrase charm pack. I'm like, what is charm pack? What is a mini charm pack? What are these all about?
What do we do with the charm pack?
Could not resist.
Did you buy a charm pack?
$5 on a mini charm pack, and let me just say, I've got greater than $5 worth of pleasure from
the charm pack was only $5.
Yes. So I'm making a project bag.
Sweet. Oh, maybe that's what how they make this style project bag is with charm packs.
Okay, so the charm pack comes with 42 squares. So I've got 7 times 5 here, and then this will go above the zipper. 7 times 1.
Are there any repeats?
Yeah, there are a few. And I mean, I just laid these out on the dining room table and just kind of went for a little balance. I don't think it's anyway.
Will the back be a solid?
It's going to be another William Morris.
Oh, and so this is a William Morris charm pack.
It is.
Did you say William and Morris before?
Did I say William and Morris? It is William Morris.
It's William Morris, yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Maybe that's just how today is for me. I don't know. Anyway, I just had a lot of fun. And as always, I use Liz's tutorial, Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She has one for a vinyl front and one, this is not the vinyl front. I'm going to need to make a few modifications because this ends up to be a little bit bigger than hers. But I mean, I just need to add a ½ inch here or there or something like that. So...
nice.
Strangely fun.
Looks fun.
I now understand what a charm pack is. Next time I use a charm pack, I might want to put some solids in, I think.
Okay, though it helps me explain why so many people make this style bag with the squares. I thought they were cutting all the squares, but if you get a charm pack.
And they're finished with like a very fine zigzag. So they're not fraying. Actually, I have it. The person I bought this from sent me an extra.
An extra charm pack?
I'll tell you more about it during shared supplies. So this is the Morris Meadow charm pack.
Oh, it's so cute. That's totally worth $5 just to touch it. I just got $5 of fun right there.
You could have that one if you want to play with it. I know it's maybe not exactly your style, but
cool.
So I don't know. I usually go to a few fabric stores when I'm visiting Joan, so I might have to keep an eye out for some charm packs or some mini charm packs.
Cool. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. So that's our whips. Let's go plans.
Scarlet berries, more motifs. Fruits of plenty. The fruits of plenty. Just what I explained, the 12 lengths a week, and I do not know what I'm going to take on my trip.
It's hard.
I might bring, I think it's called Marguerite Meadows, because I'm doing it in wool. And is it 28 or 32 count
28
or something? And I love the little sampler. I'm sorry I didn't bring it. That's a leading contender right now. I don't have any knitting to bring. I usually have some knitting because that's my favorite thing to do when I'm traveling. I don't know. That's as far as I've gotten.
Plans. I'm going to continue. I love doing my focus whip. Next week, I've already done my random number for next week, and it's fun. It's my Peace on Earth, my New Year's start. So that will be fun to. I'm doing a lot of good progress on that.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, when I'm traveling, I'm going to New York. I'm going to pick my own whip to take with me. And I'm actually thinking I might take a peacock, a unicorn, a badger.
Oh.
Because it has so much of that background fill-in that when I'm just hanging around.
Okay.
Or I might try before I go to, again, do a lot of outlining. So there's just a lot of coloring to do.
There you go.
So I'm thinking that might be a contender. Also, without my sweater kind of being installed, I might start a new simple knitting project. Because same thing, knitting, especially when you're around little kids or in the airplane, it's so easy to pick up and put down. So I'll have to think about that. So those are my plans right there. I love Carrie and Caroline. I love their FlossTube on Evertotes, and they're both, maybe Carrie's just started it. She's doing peacock, unicorn, and badger, but she dyed fabric to be the green, so she's not doing a full coverage, and then did a Roxy Flosco. But they just joking, they keep calling it the peacorn. So a lot of people have started to use hashtag peacorn for that. So I'm going to start using that too. But if you look at that hashtag, you can see the more recent ones are the peacock, unicorn, badger. But they're pictures of veggies, like pea and corn together, like sort of a succotash. So I'm like, this is going to be the randomest hashtag, peacorn. No. All right. So our next section here, we're going to do a little We're Curious. So we are curious about the hashtag Jacob Sleeper Sal that Carmen of Cardamom Pins is hosting. We're both all in. As soon as we heard that on her FlossTube, we're like, yeah, Carmen, we're there. And she initially thought we should start on March 1st, and that's still open for everybody to start on March 1st, but ends up she's traveling. So she's going to start on March 10th. So I know I'm going to wait for Carmen. What are you thinking? Are you going to start March 1st or March 10th?
No idea.
Okay. So whatever, but I am going to start March 10th. So we thought we would maybe share what we picked, or what I think Anna may have picked one. I have a few contenders, but sort of talk about what we're going to do for that.
I think because I've done a lot of Jacob's Quaker things. I did a bunch of little birds, and then of course I've got the Fruits of Plenty. I just finished the Embell. I really I was concentrating on the reproduction sampler section of his website when I looked every day for about a week. What should I do? So thank you, Carmen. I'm already having so much fun. And I was going to say there are two with the same.
We haven't really talked too much.
And look down, and there it is on Carolyn's iPad. I was choosing between those two for a while, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no, I'm going to do Marble Knot. So
excuse me.
We'll put a little image here. I I think this is such an interesting piece. And it has only 2 colors, as you can see. So it's ochre and blue. I just went to Michael's and got a little start on some possible colors. And Carolyn, I would love to hear your thinking, probably after the video.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want a little green in my blue, I think.
Yeah.
I think I want my ochre to lean towards brown a little bit.
I think you could also
Combo.
do a variation on the theme, because it's actually, have you looked at the size of that? First of all, when I saw which one she picked, I have been eyeing that one ever since I saw it. It's so different. For me though, I didn't want that verse.
Oh, I have a whole different idea for the words, which we'll talk about another time.
And it reminds me of an improvisational quilt. That's why I'm so drawn to it. The irregularity, at the same time there's regularity. So that's why I think picking a family and maybe doing most of them in one. But do you know how just in a quilt, if you want to do blue, you're going to have a variety of blues in there. I think that could look really good.
I could even just use what I have in my hand.
You could.
Some sort of.
You could.
I'm a little concerned.
It's big.
That I'm also going to get tired of the.
I don't think so.
The diamonds. I hope not.
Anna, I think that is the biggest sleeper Jacob has, because it doesn't look like his style. I'll be curious. Have you bought the pattern yet?
No.
Okay, so I'll be curious to hear the story behind it when you buy it. But I do think
buy it after I can go.
I do think it's like 300. Like, I think it's huge.
I'm going for it. I might need a Stitcher's half.
Maybe. I
should do that before I go on the trip, because I might go to a cross stitch store on the trip
and see. I could be totally wrong. In fact, we can look that up, and maybe I'll insert it here if I was way off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
I feel really good about trying it. And if for some reason, it just gets to be too big or something, then I'll just chop it.
Yeah,
part of it.
And the buildings across the top are so funky.
Much.
I know. Okay, I'm so glad you're picking that.
Okay. Let's see your ideas.
And again, the idea from this is to go watch Carmen's videos. She gives you so much enthusiasm for them. But it's to pick a pattern that maybe people haven't seen or is not as popular. And it's so fun. You can just go to his site, and if you just go to shop, you can just scroll through all of his designs, or you can do them by category. And as with you, Anna, every night when I go to bed, just look through them. And
I know everyone can relate to this. How much fun is it?
It was so fun. So I've narrowed mine down to 4, but I think I've made my choice. But I thought I would show you all 4. Okay.
Yep, this was one of the ones. Love it.
This is how would you pronounce her name? Girta Brockhaus.
Girta.
1848.
We'll have to go listen to a video if Jacob
talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and don't you think one of these might be something for my bowl full of baskets?
Anna's gonna definitely one of those for both full baskets. Okay. Then the next one was done by the sister, and this is a smaller sampler.
Love it.
With motifs.
So those 2 were in the running.
They were, okay.
Those were my 3 I was picking from.
Okay. So I've never done one of his samplers, so that was that. And then I found this, it's called The First Flowers. And that just reminded me, it had some folk art, it had a little fractal look to it to me. It really drew my attention.
This one always reminds me of dangly earrings.
Dangly earrings, yep, coming down. So that one, and I went ahead and bought, okay, I'll have to tell, the smaller sampler of the sisters, I bought it this morning and downloaded it. I'd already bought it before. We just haven't printed them out. Like, we have to print out at least the front covers of our downloaded
That's
ones,
a great idea.
so that we know we have it. But I'm like, I don't care.
Even if it's in black and white.
Yeah, Jacob deserves that. I don't mind giving him twice the money.
It's just sort of funny. That is starting to happen to us.
And then the other one was his 8 Biscornu designs. And I'm not going to make Biscornus. I'm sorry, Carmen, I know you love Biscornus and have done an amazing job. But I thought they was just like, maybe I might stitch a few separately. I could see them as tiles.
You want to hear something funny? I do not remember seeing that.
Yeah.
How many times did I look on the website?
I know.
That's cool.
And so they're all the same size, so you could mix and match. I also thought this could be a really interesting bigger piece. He has a couple of things that are just borders. It's like 50 borders, 2 of them. And you could mix and match these tiles with strips of border.
Did you get that when you were going to practice with different kinds of silk?
No, I got his Bristol sampler that also has borders in it. Okay, so of those, everybody can guess. What do you think I'm going to do? Which one of those?
I'm not guessing anymore.
Come on, Anna, play.
Okay, I will.
And you may not know everything that's in my head.
All right.
Thank goodness.
Okay, I'm picking Biscornius.
Okay, not that. That was really close, but I decided I wanted to do something with color because we have been accumulating so much great Roxy floss from floss clubs and things we had. I wanted to do my own colors based on the Roxy floss.
This makes so much sense
that I have. So I decided to pick one that had multicolor. So this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to just do my own color conversion, and I'm probably going to convert it as I go. I'm going to pick a linen. I might start with some of those my blue families. There are 3. It looks like 3 shades of blue in there, and go with it. I don't think I'm even going to go get the DMC to compare. I think I'm going to just go with colors.
I'm excited for you.
So probably what I'll do is I'll pick my linen, and maybe I'll pick 1 or 2 colors that I know I'm going to start with as my base, and then go from there.
Great.
So Carmen, I'm just thanking you out there in the wild. Hopefully you'll get this gratitude. I'm not sure you watch this or not, but you're getting our gratitude. Such a fun idea, and it's so great to go back and look at someone's catalog of designs, and you can sort of see, I think he has them sequentially. So the further you go through the pages,
it seems like it,
the later they get. And it's really great to see, he really started off more with like Scandinavian designs, and just to see his evolution and how he went through a big Quaker phase. Like there are a bunch of Quakers kind of in the middle. So please join us. And I can't wait to see.
Thank you, Jacob, too.
Of course. Thank you, Jacob. I can't wait to see once that style gets going what everybody's sleeper patterns are and how they look.
Yeah, and then we can see who picked the same sleeper pattern as you.
And how much of a sleeper. And she was also, so many of his patterns are one color, but I know you can stitch them in multicolors or pick a multicolor one and do your own colors. So, because I was even thinking with that Biscornu one, let's go back to that one. I'm going to definitely do something with this. It would be neat. I was thinking again about adding bands and maybe having them multicolors where one is going to be primary color with some accent, but then another one would pick up that accent color.
You don't mean red, like primary as in like the dominant color, not red, green.
I don't mean, no. I just mean red, like blue, there's
primary colors? Yes. Okay.
I should say a main color, and then maybe a little bit of contrast, but then maybe that contrast becomes a main color on one of the other ones, and who knows? I think there's a lot of potential. Great. And these are small. These are each like 60 by 60, something like that. They're pretty small.
Well, thanks for adding to our shared supplies with all these beautiful patterns.
When I go to work next week, we have a color printer. I'll print off some.
It all works out.
Yeah, they totally get enough work from me.
I just feel like I often do things at home for school using home supplies, and I really do think it all works out.
Yeah, and there's sometimes too, I'm teaching a class right now that has a lot of supplies, and sometimes I'm like, it's just faster for me to go to Michael's and just get it, and I don't put my receipts in, so. Okay, super exciting. All right. So a couple shared supplies.
My box.
Your box.
Any of you who like William Morris or Liberty of London and like to back small things with those kinds of fabrics, I have looked online in lots of different places, and I know our internet searches might take us to different places, or sometimes I get frustrated if you have to buy a whole yard cut or something. I have found this place called Morris Textiles. Ooh. I think Morris is the maiden name of the owner. This is the little card. Lisa. You can get a stitcher's quarter. So she sent me a little extra. So these, I had these up in our Instagram stories. These are the two I'm considering backing. The first flower pot, which I can't reach anymore. But I mean, these are just like $3.25 each. So I just got a bunch of thinking a bowl full of baskets.
Be a beautiful quilt.
and really reasonably priced, beautifully packaged, so nice to interact with. I mean, I just cannot say enough about Morris Textiles. So it is a fantastic resource if you like this style fabric and you want to use it for little things. So in quilting fabric, a stitcher's quarter is this size. And I think they were $3.50. I cannot remember, but it was something like
We'd
that.
call that, like some people would call that a fat quarter.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Yeah, oh, Anna, fantastic.
I'm really happy. And I think this is plenty. I think this is plenty of choice.
But I love
Be all set.
how you're thinking about the backs of your bowl full of baskets to also coordinate and to have a theme. I think this can be
It's feeling really
great.
good.
Really great.
All right, what did you get?
Okay, my shared supplies is I've continued to get I signed up for the Roxy.
We're so funny.
Roxy Floss Monthly. And so what I've decided to do is, because I like their palettes, is I'm labeling them on the back, like here's February's, that it was February 2024, and I get both the brights and the neutrals, so which it was. So I figured once I put them all together, if I ever want to go back and find a palette, I can find it. So here was the neutral palette for February.
So you think we're thinking Valentine's? Seems like it.
But it was more, this is more oranges and browns for the neutrals. There we go, that was that. And then this felt more Valentine's, but there's a beautiful turquoise, purple and pink, and then these were the brights for February. Look at that.
Beautiful.
So
wow.
right now I have my February on one ring. I'm sorry, I should be saying ours. And this was the January, and I'll intersperse them. But then I went through all of our stash and pulled up all the Roxy Floss Co. we have, even some of the ones from the Pop-Tart from the Pretty Bird. And I put them on more or less color by color.
I see.
By color family. Because it's really interesting, like thinking if you go to get ones, you want them alphabetized by name. I think for these right now, no. I think I want to see them more by color. So we're getting a really great selection. And that's why, because I had these and this is the first time we've done a floss, is I want to use them. So that was another thing thinking for the
first time
Jacob.
you've done a floss, like monthly thing, you mean?
Yeah, the monthly club. So it was really fun using the ones I had for the holiday countdown and now thinking about using them for that Jacob sampler. Great. That's that. And then I bought 2 project bags from Little Boat 88. I think it's Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher. There's one floss tuber that gets a lot from her, and I'm like, I got to go check her out. So they're both vinyl front, but this one had some fox little creatures, vinyl front, and it looked like with a thread bed with it, and nice zipper. They feel really well made. I haven't used them yet, but that was fun. And then this one, I love the fabric on the back, just like really fun, whimsical Christmas holiday, with then some poinsettias in there. So this is the fabric that really drew me. So I have those 2 bags. I sort of forgot they came from Canada, and they took a little time, which is fine, to come, and I kind of forgotten. I ordered them. I'm like, what's that package? I'm like, oh yeah. So that was exciting.
They're cute, really cute.
That's okay. Here we are. Thumbs up.
Time for thumbs up. So we've mentioned our travels, our upcoming travels a few times. I'm doing a thumbs up for just the anticipation of a trip, in particular a yearly trip that already has a certain rhythm to it. Like a store of memories already. I mean, every time I go east at this time, it's a little bit different, but I can't wait to see all the people. So my daughter and her family, my sister-in-laws, and like our sister and her, I mean, just a lot of people I love. There are certain places I can't wait to go. There's a sculpture exhibit at the Hirshhorn that I really hope. So I hope I can get into the Smithsonian.
Good.
Food. There's a biscuit sandwich that I need to have. And whenever I'm in Philadelphia, there's something I like to get at Wawa. We don't have a Wawa out here. So need to get my hoagie. And I just can't wait.
Great.
So thumbs up for
Sounds good.
the anticipation of the trip to come.
That's nice. Yeah.
And
I mean,
Carolyn?
it's been years and years
Many
that
years.
you go on this trip during we always, our school, very many schools now have a February break around the President's Weekend. All right, so my first one thumbs up is thinking about how stitching and mindfulness connect. And I find like often when I'm stitching, there's enough thinking that you can't think about other things or your mind isn't drawn away. But there's not so much thinking that you have to focus on that. So I'm often finding I'm stitching and I'm in a very peaceful, calm state of mind. I don't know if you find,
for sure.
And it made me wonder if that's why people love stitching so much. Is it really it just puts you in that, it puts you in the present very easily, at least for me, very easily.
Yeah, I like the way you described it. For me, I always think of it of getting back into equilibrium. I feel like that's what it helps me do, which is maybe two ways of saying the same thing.
Okay, thumbs up for that. My next thumbs up is I've talked about this a little bit, but our sixth grade is in a separate location just for 1 year for a long story. And we've done some fun things. One of them is we just have the sixth grade council, and the kids rotate through who's on it. And this council decided they wanted to share your culture day. So we're like, sure, why not? So we took Friday afternoon, no classes, and put on the share your culture day. And families participated. People set up tables, brought food. It was incredible. The kids did a variety show. They did so awesome. We had tables like forget how we live. We come from a pretty diverse area. There were like 11 tables from diverse cultures doing different things. But okay, really what I want to tell you about this, what was really cool, so many of the tables had some form of a traditional garment. And so many of the traditional garments had some element of embroidery or embellishment on it in that way. And I'm like,
yeah,
I love when you see something like that. And these were, Asian, Indian, Mexico and Central America, like all over Middle Eastern, like Philippines. It's a human condition of wanting to craft and embellish. And so it's just so cool when you see the same thing coming up in culture. So that just really struck me. And I loved going around like at the Chinese cultural table. Somebody brought in a garment that was over 100 years old, hand embroidered. It was I'm like, can I just touch that? Like, and one of our students is a Korean heritage, and she was wearing the most beautiful traditional Korean dress. And then she had this really cool, it wasn't quite a purse, it wasn't quite a pocket. And it reminded me of the pockets, that people used to wear and embroider like historically. And so I asked her what that was, and she told me the Korean word, and then she said it translates into treasure pocket. Ooh. So it was just, anyway, I was all over that. Thumbs up. Okay, my last thumbs up. Have you all watched Dark?
No.
On Netflix?
What is it?
It's a 3-season. It's a little sci-fi. Well, it's about time travel, but in a really sort of mystery way. Man, I have been binging it. I binged through season 1, season 2. My son James told me about this, and he's like, "You gotta watch it. It's so good. We're binging it." And recently, I'm like, "Okay, did you guys finish season 2?" And he goes, "The student has outdone the master." Because I'm like,
"You're ahead of them now."
Yeah, so good. So I'm sort of saving that third season. I think I'm probably gonna start it maybe tomorrow or Monday. So good.
Oh, I always like having something in the line,
Yeah, it's dubbed. It's a German. It's from Germany.
Oh, so you can't stitch while you?
No, you can't. It's dubbed. It's talked.
I forgot what dub meant.
But it's not like the best. But you totally forget it. You very quickly get sucked into the story. Okay, thumbs up, Dark. All right. So we're so funny. We started today, and we're like, "Are we gonna have enough stuff?" Like.
Almost an hour and 15.
As they always say, we always have enough.
Yes.
I mean, just people, you have enough.
Yes.
All right. So until next time,
happy crafting.
Stay curious. Bye, everybody.
See ya.